Well, Hillary Clinton is no longer smiling after John Kelly comes forward and wipes the smirk right off her face and strikes fear into her and Bill's heart. Taylor Gibson for Liberty Writers reports that the White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, just struck fear in the heart of Hillary and Bill Clinton. America is cheering. Now, the rampant corruption that is Hillary Clinton, it needs to end. Okay, she cannot get away with everything while sitting back with that horrendous smirk on her face. She thinks she's untouchable. She thinks that what she does, well, she'll never be held accountable for it. Especially like that Russian nuke deal. Shady, shady, shady. Or even the shady Russian dossier scandal. Enough is enough, folks. And finally, we have somebody willing to step forward and say it. Not just President Trump. Okay, this man is serious. General John Kelly, he's a man with impeccable credentials and a seat of power. So get ready, Hillary, because what he just said will most probably happen and happen very soon. In an interview on Fox News' new program, The Ingraham Angle, Kelly said it is time to appoint a special counsel to get to the bottom of Hillary's many crimes. It's about time. A special counsel should have been appointed a long, long time ago. Okay? Comey and Loretta Lynch, all of them compromised. Clearly we know that now. And of course, hindsight is 2020, but of course, Obama would have never appointed a special counsel to go after Hillary Clinton. Thankfully, we have Kelly as chief of staff. We have President Trump in the White House. And Trump said, remember, it was a campaign promise that he was going to go after her. And this may be the beginning of the fulfillment of such. Now, one of the things that we're hoping that they look into is this Russian nuclear deal and the funding of this dodgy dossier, as it's now been named. Kelly spoke eloquently about Americans' right to know what the U.S. government is doing on any given day. And then he called for an independent and special investigation into Clinton, saying that an objective investigator is necessary to look into accusations against Clinton and the Democrats. And he is 100% correct. He said, quote, one of the strengths that I have in looking at issues in my job, I think probably as a layman, looking at this kind of thing, we need to find someone who's very, very objective, who can get to the bottom of these accusations. I think it's important, again, the American people have an absolute right to know these things. So yes, we do, friends, we do have a right to know these things. And while the wheels of justice may move slowly, guys like Kelly, with them at the helm, at least they're finally moving. So we may finally see some justice. I mean, this is so crazy. Remember, there's special counsel against Bill, right? For messing around with an intern in the Oval Office, which led to the House to vote for his impeachment. Now, another special counsel investigating another Clinton and Bill, because he's working with the Clinton Foundation at the time, getting millions of dollars in kickbacks so they can move that Uranium One deal. So this is a huge development, folks. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's pray to the good Lord that we finally see justice, that America can be, this ship of state can be righted. And right now, the Clintons have clearly capsized it. We need to get this ship right again. We need justice to prevail, and we need to move forward so we can make America great again. Expose that corruption. So, do you agree?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham in Washington. Let's get right to the angle. Let me tell you what we're not going to get used to in the United States as the new normal, or dismiss as a one-off or just another senseless act of violence. When a jihadist games our immigration system, gets a green card, rents a truck, and in the name of Allah mows down innocents in a major American city. That is not, nor will it ever be, acceptable in the U.S., particularly when it's preventable, as this act of terror may have been. Like clockwork, the platitudes are flying from city officials.
Is an international symbol of freedom and democracy. That's what we are, and we are proud of it. That also makes us a target for those people who oppose those concepts.
Of course New York is susceptible to attack, duh. Every city is susceptible to attack. Those words mean nothing. We want action from elected officials to keep this country and cities like New York safe. And listening to this makes me think of the mass Islamic resettlement in Europe. We saw terror attacks in Barcelona, Paris, London, Manchester, on and on. Now, do you remember what we heard from Polish Prime Minister Beata Szydło last summer after the truck attack in Manchester, England? She said the following: "Do we want politicians who claim we have to get used to attacks or who describe terrorist attacks as incidents? Or do we want strong politicians who can see the danger and fight against it efficiently?" Well, I know one politician who saw the danger. Back in August of 2016 in Youngstown, Ohio, candidate Donald Trump had this to say about radical Islam.
Nor can we let the hateful ideology of radical Islam, its oppression of women, gays, children, and non-believers be allowed to reside or spread within our own countries. We must use ideological warfare as well, very important, and they use it on us better than we have ever even thought of using it on them, but that will change. Just as we won, thank you, just as we won the Cold War in part by exposing the evils of communism and the virtues of free markets, so too must we take on the ideology of radical Islam.
After he was elected, President Trump issued an executive order to temporarily halt travel from countries of concern and crack down on illegal immigration. For that, he was branded as cruel and heartless. You know what's cruel and heartless? Bikers and pedestrians run over in broad daylight in a major American city. That's cruel and heartless. Trump's instincts about what it takes to secure the homeland are correct. Protect our borders, deport lawbreakers, build a wall, halt refugees from certain countries given the severity of the threat. These are common sense solutions. So far, here's what we know. The slime that took 8 lives today is a radicalized Uzbek. He got a green card through the diversity visa program, according to my sources. You know what Donald Trump proposed in his immigration reform priorities to Congress a few weeks ago? The president expressly asked for the elimination of the diversity visa program that grants 50,000 green cards annually at random through a lottery. It's a total scam. Tonight, I'm also thinking of those activist lower court judges, like those 2 Obama appointees who just weeks ago ruled against the president's travel bans, calling them anti-Muslim. Though Uzbekistan was not on the list, it should be. I'd love to ask Judges Derek Watson and Theodore Hwang, is it now time to restrict who comes into our country? Shouldn't we now make sure that all visitors or U.S. visa holders are not a threat to our citizens? Throughout the campaign, President Trump warned about the refugee flow into the United States, which is why so many were shocked this month when he agreed to permit 45,000 refugees into the country. We're apparently doing extreme vetting on them. I asked General Kelly exactly what that meant last night. Okay, now how are we extreme vetting? What is extreme vetting?
Extreme vetting is we simply interview people and have to satisfy ourselves that the person we're talking to is indeed the person who they claim.
Pretty tough to do in some cases. There are no records.
And frankly, impossible to do in some cases.
So they won't come in then. If you can't really verify that, they're not coming in.
If we can't verify, I don't think we should let them into the country.
President Trump was elected in large part, because voters appreciated his no-nonsense pragmatism on issues like homeland security and immigration. Although we can't stop all terror attacks in the United States, the safety of the American people demand that we do what we can to stop those attacks that are preventable. 9/11 should have made it obvious to everyone that Islam has a hideous radicalization problem. Donald Trump put the onus on Muslim leaders on his first foreign trip to get their houses in order and reform from within. Here at home, we should not lose one more American life because politicians don't have the nerve or the will to do what's necessary to secure the homeland. Our safety is their primary responsibility. And that's the angle.